Andy Purewal for Boxing News, joined by promoter Eddie Hearn after an early finish here at your court. Eddie is always welcome, and what a night, some fantastic fights ending with a new British and Commonwealth champion crowned.
Great night of boxing and a great performance from George Leard. Really was. 23 years of age, the youngest ever British middleweight champion. And, I think he really announced himself on the world stage tonight, if I'm honest. I thought that was a really, really good night. Great performance. And, good to be back at your call.
Walk me through some of those fights, obviously on the undercard as well. Jimmy Sains with a good performance alongside it. Shannon Ryan, Chloe Watson, that eye was grotesque.
Yeah. Jimmy Sains, it's a shame in a way that Jimmy and George are with the same trainer in the same camp, because one day those two could fight at the London Stadium. They're two very, very good young fighters. Jimmy boxed really well. He's very heavy-handed. Shannon Ryan started the fight really well, and it's a shame that she never got a chance to really get into it. Disappointed for Chloe. I thought it was a very unlucky injury. Tia Ayton again, 3 fights, 3 stoppages. You just don't see that in women's boxing. Good win for Laylee. See you, mate. Good win for Adam Macca as well. And Taylor Bevan looked very, very good. Great night. Great Friday night down at York Hall.
Just with George, and on the back of such a big victory against a well-seasoned opponent, what next for him?
I would look. He still only had 13 fights, and that's the thing that makes it so impressive. I would like to see him defend that British title, maybe even win that outright. Go on, challenge for the European title. But there was part of me that felt that was a bit early tonight, if I'm honest, and clearly it wasn't. And it was a really, really impressive, powerful performance.
Obviously, we saw you earlier on, and you never had a chance to catch up. The announcement press conference for Ben Whitaker and his upcoming bout firstly. Just happy to get that one over the line. You always seemed like you two were destined to work together at some point.
It's been like, don't forget we agreed a deal many years ago, and it's like part of me kind of thinking, when's it going to happen? Every time I'd see him out, we'd sort of look at each other and almost give each other a little wink and say one day. And when he became a free agent, we were of course in the race, and it was a big race, a hot race, and we won the race. We're really pleased we won the race, and we'll do a great job for him. He gets it all. He's a tremendous fighter. He's got great profile, and I believe he's going to go all the way.
In terms of his first fight with you guys, there have obviously been some.
Got that bag, yeah?
There's obviously been a few criticisms on Ben's first opponent under the Matchroom banner. What do you make of that, and why did you choose Gazavi?
I think it's a good opponent. He's unbeaten in 7 or 8 years. Also, he's a good amateur. We have to remember as well. Got the other bag there.
3 bags in there.
Oh, is it cool? Yeah. We've got to remember that he's only had 10 fights, and away from Liam Cameron, actually hasn't fought anywhere near the standard of Gavazi, if I'm honest with you. So, coming back after a little bit of time out of the ring in a short camp, I like the fight. He's a WBC international champion. He's for the silver title. We need 2 or 3 fights, not like this. We need to step up after this as well. But we're not at that level yet of jumping in and gambling in a fight with Callum or Boazzi or Yard. Even Craig Richards or Willie Hutchinson. We still need 1 or 2 more, because we've had 10 fights. A lot of those guys have had 25, 30 fights. So let Ben do his thing. He's going to be a tremendous talent and a huge name. And we need to get on a little bit of a run. Win this fight in November, box in America in the early part of 2026, and then have a bigger fight in Birmingham, on the Railway Inn, of course, as well, in the early summer of 2026.
Do you understand why there is that clamour, though, to see Ben step in with somebody maybe of a higher profile a bit sooner, especially because of how loud he was when he turned over, and you saw him when you fight with Dan Aziz of the world in 5 fights?
Well, that's the fighter. It's my job and Andy Lee's job to look at where we are and the momentum we need. So, listen, if he steamrolls this kid, and people are a bit like, they don't really know anything about this kid. He's a decent fighter. I watched him fight in Germany, beat I think in 11-0, knocked him out in a good fight. He was a good amateur. I know his team. They're right up for it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if it's a mismatch on November 29. I don't think so at all.
One thing with Ben, obviously Frank Warren's come out saying that they never got to the point of making an offer for him. They felt that the opponents he wanted to face didn't align with their plans, and maybe he was looking at an easier route moving forwards than what you guys were pursuing. What can you tell me about that, Joe?
No idea. Ben said that Frank made an offer publicly. I think he said that. I know Boxer made a huge offer. Other companies made big offers. Doesn't really matter. He signed with us, and we're going to do the right thing by him. We'll move him at the right pace, but more importantly, we'll get him active, and we'll actually give him a plan, rather than just sitting around really twiddling his thumbs, not knowing what he's doing.
He really seemed to have gotten underneath the skin of Dana White recently.
I was surprised. You know, I've always got on really well with that, and I hope I still can, if I'm honest. But I was surprised with his reaction. Like, he was angry. He was really loud, and he was like, you know, the blood pressure was going everywhere, and, you know, I was like, wow. That's why I posted saying, too angry too early. We haven't started. He's not even done a show yet, and he's losing his shit. Chill. You know what I mean? This is going to be a fun, long race. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And we're gonna go at it. No bad feelings, but let's go. Eddie Hearn v Dana White in the world of boxing. What a time to be alive. What a buzz. Since he's come in and he started just poking the bear, I've been buzzing. I'm training twice a day. I'm going for it, and I can't wait. Listen, maybe he wins, but I got a good little feeling for me in this one.
Just on that note then, obviously because of them teaming up with TKO and the launch of their promotional business moving into next year, what does that mean for yourselves, Riyadh season and all of those events moving forwards? Will they become fewer and far between?
No, nothing really. I mean, TKO will be doing the league or whatever they do. Riyadh season will be Riyadh season. Ring events will be ring events. Matchroom will have 40 shows around the world. The only global promotional company in the world. I don't know, I don't really expect any change other than a few angry promoters.
One thing we saw is CSAC backed the Muhammad Ali Revival Act, the California State Athletic Commission. What do you make of their move to do so?
Listen, obviously, look, you know what's going on over there with that lot. You know, it's not. Don't take a genius to work it out. Oscar De La Hoya said it right. You know, sometimes I have my back and forward with Oscar De La Hoya. At the end of the day, he's a former fighter that cares about the sport. The Muhammad Ali Act is in place to protect the interests of a fighter. They don't want to protect the interests of the fighter, in my opinion, and more importantly, they don't want you to know how much money they're making. So I think fighters are smart enough to know it's not a good look. But listen, their business is their business.
That's one from me, Eddie. Boots. Before you lose your suitcase, I know you're trying to get away, but Boots, what next for him after that first round?
Just we need a big fight. You know, that was an unbelievable performance. And people will say, oh, Lima. Lima's a good fighter. But Boots is special. And we've got to get the resume to really show that.
Do you think Ortiz will be next?
I hope so. We've signed our contract to fight Ortiz with DAZN, with Matchroom, and it's the deal that we all agreed in a room. If Golden Boy want it, if Virgil Ortiz wants it, the fight's made. It's got to beat Lubin first.
Thank you, Eddie.
Cheers.